it's like we kind of talked on text. There are literally, I don't know, Beth could tell you the number of stories that I've repeated over and over and over from my football days. And, I go back, back to 19, I don't remember when the Chiefs won their first Super Bowl, but I remember being either a seventh grader or an eighth grader, and everybody that I went to school with basically wanted the Minnesota Vikings. Why, I don't know, because I grew up in Lockwood, but they all wanted the Minnesota Vikings to win, and I was a big Chiefs fan then. And I told them, yeah, the Chiefs are going to whip you. So I remember back that part of the Chiefs. Now, there were a few years where I didn't follow the Chiefs, like that, but those were the days when it wasn't that easy to watch the games. And I grew up on a farm, and I'm not even sure we had the Chiefs games piped in out there in Dade County. But
I think
that's probably, I can go back that far now, not chronologically from there on, but lots of the Chiefs teams that I remember they were good enough during the regular season, and then Schottenhammer's ball got them to the playoffs, and then they get whipped. So all the way to this last weekend when we saw them. So I guess we kind of need to. I don't know if we need to discuss that before we do the cast itself. And it's like I told Beth, I said, I don't know how many people will be willing to follow us. I guess that we'll find out pretty quickly, and then we'll find out how animated I need to be, because I'm kind of one of these guys that I talk monotone, and I don't move around a whole lot. And some of the guys I was watching yesterday, they're very animated, just all over the camera. So I don't know if I've got that in me or not, but I guess we'll find out.
you and me talking, me not interrupting,
Yeah.
about a kid who remembers the second Chiefs Super Bowl,
Right.
especially if you're a nowadays Chiefs fan.
Well, exactly. Yeah. There was a long time, you know, between that first and second Super Bowl win. And there were a lot of horrible, horrible Chief seasons. I remember Beth, she used to go, I don't know why you do this to yourself, because I'd sit there and watch them go 2 and I don't know how many games they had back then, but 2-14, 3-13, and it was just miserable. So if you've been a Chiefs fan for a long time, yeah, you lived through those days too. So it's a whole lot more fun now.
You want to know the first quarterback I can think of?
Yeah.
Steve DeBerg.
The Berg, yeah.
That
Yeah.
when I grew up and I remember watching the Chiefs for the first time, Steve DeBerg and that big old pinky bandage.
Yeah. I remember that. Wow. Yeah, that is a few years ago. I didn't know how much of the Chiefs you watched when you were kids, and I was back then. I didn't know if we really paid a lot of attention to Chiefs football or not, especially down in Ozark.
I remember watching them with you in Ozark. So that's where my memory first pops up, is in the Ozark house.
Yeah, I was going to say the '80s.
Berg, and that's where my memories of the Chiefs start. Don't ask Dad to do anything if the Chiefs lost.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I wasn't. There's one thing they can't call me, and that's a fair weather friend, because I lived through that stuff and it was just miserable. But that was probably, I was trying to think, that was probably the early '90s, huh? Late '80s, early '90s when we were down there, and that would have been DeBerg's time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Schottenhammer was still coaching then too.
Yep.
Well, and that's that dates you too, because you're going to be at least your age to be able to remember the Chiefs back in the late '80s, early '90s.
Yep.
That wasn't just yesterday. Yeah, there are a lot of people who are they're armchair quarterbacks when the Chiefs are around today, because it's a whole lot easier. A whole lot easier to be on Patrick's side of things.
Well, we can have when I say special guests, we can have, we can have Beth on there and interview her about
Yeah.
what goes through the household when these two are watching football. People like that kind of stuff, and that's the kind of things that I'm thinking about. We can interview Dalton and go, "Hey, third generation, what's your first memory of Kansas?"
Absolutely.
You know, we got three of us. You know, oh look. So, did you see my thumb?
I did, yeah.
It does. There did it.
I got my gray and my arrowhead out today because I got a hat and a shirt matches. So I thought, yeah, that'd be all right. The red's kind of run through my blood since I was a kid. We had an old saying that said, "Blood makes the grass grow. Kill, kill." That's when we went out to the football field. That's what we were yelling.
To start gaining. Oh,
Yeah, I got red and gold. So, that takes me back to the old Chiefs, too. You know,
yeah,
I remember that color as well. So, and, when I was a kid, Lockwood was more red and white. Now they're red and black today. But our coach
that,
brought that up here the other day. That was hilarious. I can't believe that he remembered that. But, yeah, he's coach is 70, in his late 70s now, just sharp as the tack. I said, I should send you that video, that interview that we did with him, because we've got our 50th coming up, first weekend in October. And he's not going to make it to the Friday night thing. So we interviewed him. We just had a blast. We did kind of what we're doing now. We just sat around and we talked about the good old days and talked about particular plays. And, we talked about those plays that were ones that you remember being on that field. And of course, all of us could tell that one play that we were great. The generations name in there, because you're right. I think in my family, I think I was the only guy who ever paid any attention to the Kansas City Chiefs, even way back when. Well,
yeah.
I was such an avid fan back then, but you guys didn't have any choice. You were going to be Kansas City Chiefs fans, right? Throwing you out. And Dalton's
Same with
probably the
Dalton.
same way. And obviously Madison. Madison gets into football. I watched her.
Mm-hmm.
She's maybe not quite the fan that me and you are, but hey, she watches them. And, I've hooked Beth up pretty good. She's pretty interested in Kansas City Chiefs team now. She can tell you the players. And back when we first met, I guarantee you she didn't have anything to do with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. Well,
It was fun.
Chloe's a Cowboys fan, and
Which makes sense. She grew up in what? Waco?
I got her whole family though. Like I got a picture of Vern. He put on his Kansas. I bought him a Kansas City Chiefs shirt, and he put it on one Sunday and sent me a picture of it. That's I mean, he's a Cowboys fan through and through, but he's got his secondary team.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Good thing we have a back last week. Good thing we have a backup team."
Oh, wow. Wasn't that bad?
Uh,
I don't know anything about this Saints team outside of cars over there, under the center. But wow, I thought that the Cowboys had a team. Well, who was it they played the first week and basically run over the top of them?
Cleveland Browns, who have a pretty
Cleveland,
good,
yeah.
and they
I
made them look.
thought they did. They making them look bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then you've got the Saints. What was that final score? 44-19 or something like that. I mean,
they
that's
look
crazy.
they look good too. Like it didn't look like the Cowboys. So to me, it didn't look like the Cowboys played that bad of a game. It just looked like the Saints played that good of a game. I mean, Carr was throwing dimes, and I mean they were pitching it out and then running it up the center and then throwing a long ball, then throwing. I mean, they were all over the place. It was fun to watch. Honestly, we got to play that Saints team.
I know. Well, and it's like the Saints knew what the Cowboys were calling on defense or something. I don't know. It's just one of those games that no matter what they did, they ate up yardage. And every now and then
Yeah,
you get to see games like that. The Falcons, I turned that game off with Philadelphia down in the, Falcons' end. Didn't pay any attention to it. And then when I saw the final score, I'm going, you got to be kidding me. So the Falcons are not a team we can take lightly at all.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, great guy, great testimony, and he
His cousin
drove that team down.
Cousins is in Atlanta now.
He's Falcon, yeah.
Who's throwing the ball in Minnesota? Who's
Darnell?
good?
Yeah, they're 2-0, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah,
they beat the 49ers.
They did. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. And you want to know somebody else that scares me? The L.A. Chargers.
Oh, the Chargers just got beat bad.
No, Chargers. The Chargers are 2-0.
Oh,
You're talking about the Rams. L.A. Rams.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, our Chargers in our division. Chargers.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Rams. I was like, wait a second. Yeah, okay.
You got a coach that's a totally different philosophy probably than they've had there.
Yeah.
I can just tell that you get a connection like Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have, and you get that somewhere else. Those people become, and I think Harbaugh is don't know him that well because obviously I've never followed college football that much. Watch the Missouri Tigers once in a while, and finally I think they've got a decent team. But Harbaugh's going to make a difference over there. Become dangerous. The Bengals, my understanding is that they're secondary, and don't know a lot about the Bengals because they're not my favorite team. But
yeah.
They're supposed to have one of the best secondaries in the business right now. And the other thing is they just seem to. It's almost like they are close to Mahomes' kryptonite. He struggles.
He struggles against them every time we play him.
Yeah, it's just I want to blow them out so badly, and every time we play them, it comes down to that stupid last field goal, and I just anyway.
But we keep winning.
Yeah. I'll tell. A W is a W, right?
Yeah.
He really is, and this punter we got something else. Did you see that play down inside the 5? I think the kid's name was Williams. Jumped in the air, pushed that ball back. Yeah. Yeah, obviously it was right before the half, so it didn't have the impact it could have had. But they weren't going anywhere after they pinned him back inside the 5. So we'll see what happens there, too. And the Raiders laugh about.
Mahomes better start playing better. That was a horrible game. He's not had 2 great games. Now, I know he's went up against 2 really good defenses. Golly, that was a barn burner. But I was like, Butker's going to make this kick. I'm like, he's just a stud. He's ice in his veins. He is a stud. He's not going to miss this kick. He doesn't miss the hard ones. He misses the easy ones.
Well, and he's not missed hardly anything for a while now. Harrison is just he's different.
Right. When we didn't do the 68-yard field goal that I wanted to.
Yeah, I wanted to see that. Yeah, I wanted to see that bad.
I understood why not, but
yeah, I do too. Yeah, I wouldn't have.
That almost put him in field goal range if he'd have missed it.
It would have almost instantaneously.